I'm joined by YouTube sports creator Jesser. If you have any children, people watching this, they all know who Jesser is, like, exactly, just in general. And Bucket Squad president Zach Miller. Bucket Squad is Jesser's company. I want to talk about the business of content creation, but I just want to start with the origin story.
The origin,
Yeah.
okay.
Just hit me with it. Like, how did you figure out that this was something you wanted to do, and then how did Bucket Squad start?
All right, so when I found out it was something I wanted to do, just growing up, my older brother made videos. My dad was like in the movie industry, and then I just loved making videos.
You made YouTube videos?
No, my dad made movies.
No, I mean your brother.
Yeah, my brother. So like Call of Duty, cut comms, like all of that stuff, and we did sketches. So I just loved doing it. And then it wasn't until my favorite creator at the time, someone was doing a Q&A, and someone was like, "Oh, like what do you do for a living? Like what do you do for a job?" And he's like, "Oh, I just do YouTube." And this was like 2013, and I was like, oh my God, you can do YouTube for a career?
14 years old-ish?
Like 12.
Oh, 12, okay.
Yeah. Or no, 13.
Yeah.
13,
okay.
yeah.
So you said, okay, you can do YouTube for a career, and then?
And then I was like, that's what I want to do. And then I've just been grinding ever since.
So okay, you decide you want to do YouTube as a career. You start learning how to edit videos?
Yeah, so I learned how to edit, started like commentating, coming up with skits, ideas, titles, and obviously like the first like 100 videos were Minecraft, like sketches. Nobody watched them, they got like no views, but it was love of the game at that time.
Is your dad and your brother, are they teaching you, or you're doing this all on your own?
My brother teaching me a little, but really just on my own, like learning how to edit. Like the first videos are horrible, and then after you make a couple hundred, and I was editing all of them, like I learned how to do it pretty properly.
All right, so there's got to be some sort of like turning point.
Okay, I did. All right,
right?
So I had a viral video. It was called NBA 2K in real life. In 2014, I posted it. It was basically like NBA 2K, the video game, like not very realistic, especially back in the day. Like there were some things that made no sense. So like reenacting in real life was just funny. And like Bleacher Report posted it. All these different websites posted it. It got like 100,000 views. And then I got like 1,000 subscribers, but that was the video. And then I followed it up, NBA 2K in real life part 2. That got like 1 million views, posted on Bleacher Report, everything again. And then got a couple thousand subscribers. And then that was like 2014. Then in 2015, my channel like started to pop. And I was doing only NBA 2K gaming content.
And are they probably kids your age at the time that are subscribing? Is that your audience?
Kids my age. Kids my age. Yeah.
So this was teenagers.
Teenagers and like younger. Yeah.
And younger. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so at that point, are you getting more and more professional with the videos? You're still just one man banding it all?
Yeah, all one man, like editing everything, filming everything. Like I'll get my friends in the videos, have them film, but it was all gaming videos. Gaming content's like the easiest to do by yourself because it's like the camera's just on a tripod, like you can edit it. So it's the first like couple of years, even when I moved out to do it YouTube full time, because I left high school early.
Right. So you somehow convinced your parents to let you leave high school early. What are you?
It wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard.
No. So, I was making like decent money
through
at the time.
YouTube creator program.
Yes, creator program.
What does decent money mean?
I think that probably made like 100 to 200K that year that I left. And I didn't know how to spend money because I never had personal money like to spend.
Right.
So I never spent any of it besides on 2K cards. My mom at the time wanted to move to Florida, so she was like, "Oh, if you finish high school a year early, I can leave to go to Florida." So she was all for it. And then my dad was always overseas doing movies, so my mom was. And then my dad's always been super supportive with it too. So it was actually like not hard. Like so many creators are like have such difficulty like convincing their parents to let them do content, but thankfully for me, my parents like just let me rock and were super supportive. Like got me a camera for Christmas. Like if I didn't get that camera for Christmas, I would have never had a camera. So super blessed in that regard for my family.
All right, so you now move. Where are you moving? YouTube house?
Yes, into a YouTube house with my. At the time, the two roommates I had right when I moved out were Christopher London, who's also a creator, and Zach T2G, who's still like my best friends. And the three of us lived in the house, and we started getting more roommates. But we all created the same content. We did like basketball content. It's a long story. Like, we're talking about like 2017.
Now you have a staff.
Yeah, now we have a pretty large organization.
And that's when Bucket Squad starts.
Yes, so pretty much. So Bucket Squad is the name of my clothing company, which is a basketball-focused youth apparel brand. That we started that up in 2022. So we're fast forwarding like 5 years.
5 years, okay. So it's YouTube videos, you're collecting more subscribers, you're making more money because you have more subscribers. Yes. You're still living in the house.
In 2022, I was living in my own house.
Okay.
But I still had roommates who were YouTubers. So
okay.
kind of still a YouTube house.
Yep.
But yeah, then we started Bucket Squad, basketball clothing brand. Then I found Zach right here, who's now the president.
And how do you find Zach?
So I found out when you need a super high level employee, you got to get a recruiter. Found out that for the first time,
okay,
and then the recruiter brought me Zach. Okay. And then we had one lunch, and I was like, "You're the guy."
And you're getting Zach because you need a president with media experience.
Yeah. So I mean, the company is just like getting to the size where it's like, okay, I should have someone who has great business experience, leadership, because like I obviously, like I told you, I didn't finish high school, I didn't go to business school or anything like that. So I wanted to really bring in someone who could like make it a real company. Like now we have healthcare, which like a lot of creator companies don't have stuff like that because they don't have like necessarily someone like making sure we're doing all the right things for our company, our employees. So
all right, Zach,
wanted to make it legit.
Let me bring you in here. So you step in, you're looking at Jesser's business, and you're thinking what?
Well, I mean, Jesse was very clear about what he wanted to get done. I mean, it was about establishing infrastructure, putting, organization in place, like really building the foundation to enable us to grow the way that we've grown over the last 2 years, which is bringing in more people, producing more videos, expanding into new categories, and like taking the fact that Jesse has amassed this giant audience and finding
37 million YouTube subscribers.
Yep. And more than that, 40 to 50, I would say, across all platforms.
All social media.
Yeah. And so the question becomes like, when you have this giant audience, how do you find different ways to engage with them, sell them different products, bring them different experiences, like super serve your audience? And like, I think that the team that was in place really, really best in class in terms of YouTube and audience growth. But how do you think about events? How do you think about consumer products, subscription, licensing, syndication, all of these other opportunities, which is like a more diversified media business?
So getting back to you, Jesse, how do you figure out I want to make a clothing brand?
So I didn't tell you this, but in 2014, I started making t-shirts because I just like Bucket Squad was the name of my audience. Like it was like subscribe to join Bucket Squad, and I just wanted to making shirts is fun.
The
like,
Bucket
clothes
Squad.
Is cool.
That was you were calling your subscribers the Bucket Squad.
Yeah, like
okay.
Bucket Squad.
Yeah.
Like subscribe to join Bucket Squad. And I always thought it was really cool. Like my favorite YouTubers, I bought their merch. I bought their apparel. Like I would rock it at school and stuff.
And who were your favorite YouTubers?
I loved KSI. Yeah. I loved Pro Syndicate back in the days, British YouTuber. But I loved like the Sidemen, especially even before they became the Sidemen. I watched all their channels and they were a huge inspiration. There's so many great ones, but those like KSI was like my go at the time.
So when do you morph into the style of video you do today? So if you're not familiar with the Jesser's videos, like they're sort of, I don't know, Mr. Beast derivative, like, make a basket, win $5,000 or contest videos, or, I mean, you have a few different types, but when do you sort of round into form with your particular style? Modern.
Yeah, I would say like the style of my videos now really started like 2021, maybe 2022. Like basically I was trying to do a daily vlog. I was like, I was at 3 million subscribers and I tried every type of content. I posted cooking videos, I posted random sports, like literally everything. Then I was like, I need to work harder. So I started a daily vlog. So I was vlogging my life every single day. And then the views weren't that good on those videos, but then I got really sick. And when I was really sick, I was like, all right, I need to think of a new plan. And my boy Patty, shout out Patty Galloway, who like helps YouTubers. He's like almost like a YouTube consultant, super smart guy.
Okay.
He gave me great advice. He was like, you need to make videos that anybody can enjoy. It sounds super simple, but a lot of my videos would just be like personal joke after personal joke, like right in the intro. Like if you watched it and you didn't know me like well or my jokes, you'd be like, what am I watching? Especially with the daily vlog. So then I did that, and the first video I uploaded was like going to 3 NBA games in 24 hours, and it did super well. And then I just kind of kept trying to do videos I was like, that my existing audience could enjoy as well, but also a new audience that's never heard of me. So I try to make my videos like friendly to new audiences and to my existing now instead of just my existing, and that really helped things.
And is the audience still sort of the same, little kids and teenagers, or is it bigger than that now?
Yes, it's definitely scaled because like I'll see people my age who, a lot of them may not watch me but a lot of people who watch me back in the day, I'll be like, you still watch? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I just saw your guest NBA player with Luka. They might not watch every video, but it's definitely like a wider net. And now I definitely notice with like most of our TV views most of our views on YouTube, our long form content comes from TV. And it's really like cross-generational now. Like when we have in-person events, a lot of times like kids and parents will come up to me and they watch the videos together. So it's like the kids are watching it with their parents, or their parents are also watching it. So now it's like, and we've kind of trying to be more family friendly as we have more younger fans. So it's like we got families watching, but then also people in their 20s that watch me for like 10 years, even some of them. But so it's definitely a wider gap now.
I was also going to say, I feel like we're starting to get to the point where some of the original fans are having their own kids. And so it becomes this multi-generational thing, similar to like Star Wars or Harry Potter, or even professional sports, right? Like my dad was a Packers fan, I'm a Packers fan. Like my dad was a Jesser fan, I'm a Jesser fan.
You're leading right into what I want to ask, which is, do you think, and both of you can answer this because you have
and by the way, my dad is a Jesser fan.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he is.
This is
calls me with notes on videos.
Do you think legacy media understands what's going on here?
I think the market is like, it's interesting. So 2.5 years ago, I started working with Jesse, and I think a lot of people were like, what are you doing? This is a crazy thing. And I think 2.5 years later, the market realizes that the creator economy is not a fad. It's not going anywhere. This is the direction that the media business is going. Major media is moving in that direction. Brands are moving in that direction. And so I do think we're kind of in the early innings still, but I think that the mainstream media business is waking up to it.
But does Jesse pose an existential crisis to legacy media?
I think it's more of an opportunity. I think that legacy media faces an existential crisis with, like, if you think about broadcast and cable TV, streaming threatens that. Younger audiences are moving elsewhere, and so I think legacy broadcast and cable recognizes that their audience is aging and needs to figure out ways to engage with a younger audience. And I think that engaging with people like Jesse, engaging with platforms like YouTube, I think they're starting to move in that direction.
The reason I ask this is because when I still ask league commissioners, the executives, there's still a broad sense that younger, because like my kids watch you constantly. They will not watch a full game of sports. So they love sports and they love you, but they don't watch traditionally. And the thinking is that this generation will age into a more traditional way of watching. Do you believe that?
Like so you're saying like the younger generation is not like engaging with full games, but as they grow up, they will?
Correct.
No, I wouldn't say it. I don't think so, because I think every year there's more and more ways to watch the game, whether it's like alt cast. I mean, these kids that are watching games now, like they'll have like the SpongeBob cast and stuff like that. And I think like as time goes on, like I could see in a couple of years, like there's 30 different ways to watch the Super Bowl or something like that. So I think, I don't know. I don't know where it's going, but I think the future, instead of one broadcast, there's going to be like so many versions of a broadcast, and even like the Manning cast now, like it's already starting, and it's just I think it's going to just get exponentially.
Are you a fan of a team?
In the NFL?
In the NBA?
Oh, in the NBA, I am. I'm a Lakers fan.
So you're a Lakers fan.
But I'm definitely a big LeBron fan. I think I'm more of a player-driven. Like I do like all the teams, really. But I am a Lakers fan.
That's where I was going, which is, do you see from your audience that there are kids who are player fans now who are not team fans?
Yeah, I think especially NBA, it's more player driven. Like I feel like NFL audience I have is more like diehard for their teams, but NBA I think in particular is more like player driven.
How big is Bucket Squad now? How many employees?
About 40.
And 45? What's annual revenue?
I don't know that we say
Ballpark.
Those numbers. It's solid 8 figures. So
solid 8 figures.
Crossed 8 figures last year, 2 years ago, and so we're now continuing to grow about 70% year on year.
So there's 37 million YouTube subscribers. You said 40 to 50 if you do social media. Like, is it weird to you that you're like a international celebrity? Seriously, you went from making videos at home to being known everywhere.
It's definitely super surreal. Like I wouldn't consider myself international celebrity, but it's definitely weird. Like even I remember I was in China and I was getting recognized. I was like, I thought y'all didn't even have YouTube. Well, now we actually have videos on the Chinese platforms, which is cool, but I haven't been back in a long time. But it's surreal. Anytime you get recognized by anyone, the fact that they've seen your face, watched your video, like it's just super cool, super awesome.
So I'm not really expecting you to give me the full secret sauce here because I realize you have a business to run, but why does this work for you? Like, what is the differentiator? Are you studying every video and figuring out the things that work and the things that don't, or studying Mr. Beast videos and stealing?
I think it's just like consistency. I think I was very, very early like to the game. That definitely helps. Like being in the right place at the right time. Like as a creator, it's just like I've been lucky because it's like you do anything for a long period of time, you'll get exponentially better. Like a lot of the new creators have only been around a couple of years, already popping off, and like some doing even a lot better than I am. But I think just like that 10 years of grinding and just trying to be better every day and make better content over like a decade, I think it really just compounds. So I think it's just I've been here for a while. Like I'm kind of an unk in the YouTube space. I think that really helps. Like I was early.
26?
Yeah. In the YouTube space though, in the YouTube space.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I'll say Jesse's humble, like great in front of the camera, but as good behind the camera, studying the market, intuition about what works in YouTube, what doesn't work. So many times we're bringing opportunities, and Jesse has a very good instinct, like, no, that's not gonna work. Let's not waste any time on it. Let's focus on this thing. This is gonna work. And I would say 2.5 years of working with him, if he's been wrong like once, that's like a lot.
Yeah, we have a great team. I think that it's really like we said, we have a lot of people working, so it's like, we might have a banger, great idea. I get all the credit for it, but a lot of times, like, I might not even be the one who thinks of it. So, like, having a great team is essential too.
So, what's the next frontier now for Bucket Squad? What do you want to do that you haven't done yet?
I think that, like, even when I hired Zach and he's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I just want to do things that I think are super cool." So, like, more collabs with my favorite brands in terms of the clothing. Like, we did the NFL collab. I was like, collabing with the NFL is so cool. Like, done NBA collab. We just did 100 Thieves. Like, love 100 Thieves. So I want to do collabs with like all my favorite brands. And then we just want to really like, because, sorry, it's two separate. It's like Bucket Squad and then Jesser. Like Jesser, just keep having fun. We actually just got a brand new like 56,000 square foot warehouse. That's going to be our new office. We're going to have full court soccer field. So I'm just like super excited for that, to move into that space and build it out and film really fun
That's
videos.
in LA too?
It is in LA, yeah. It's going to be in Newbury Park near Sports Academy. So that will be super fun, but really just like enjoy the journey, have fun with it, and just like see how big we can get it. Like, cause we're really like in uncharted territory. Like there wasn't really like a Jesser before me or type of sports brand. So it's like, we're just trying our best and figuring it out as we go.
And I'll just say, like, the video business is at the center of everything, the Jesser business, and is a flywheel for audience. And I think we look at it and we say, how can we understand what our audience wants, what Jesse's excited about, what's going to be a good business, and figure out how to have a constellation of business opportunities that engage with this audience, that bring joy to them, that bring them great products and experiences, and that sort of are, all work together collectively around the video business.
So we saw Mr. Beast did Beast Games on Amazon. Are you starting to talk to these legacy subscription streamers out there and thinking about what are ways I can work with them?
Yeah, definitely thinking about it. I mean, YouTube is my home, like number one, like that's my spot. But I mean, if a crazy opportunity came up, maybe we would take it. But we don't have one like super, or I guess I don't know. What do we say?
We're having conversations. We're having conversations. I would say that it's definitely, when you talk about how the market is waking up to creators and moving in that direction, there's definitely a lot of interest, and we definitely want to consider those opportunities. But as Jesse said, YouTube is central first and foremost, and how we can build more opportunities, reach more audiences, do new things, bigger things incrementally on top of that.
Yeah, it's like
definitely
we'd love to explore, but as long as we keep YouTube our number one, because that's what built everything. That's where my fans are.
Jesse and Zach, thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.